because Bubba and Boo Boo are here and they are snoring, curled up in a ball, and I don't want to mess up their joy, okay? So we're going to keep it super mellow. You might not be able to see anything very clearly, but I'm just not going to be here too long. Just wanted to get a few things out there. When I open up the ephemeris for 2024, it's eye-popping to me. Good evening, Necessary Truth. You just landed home. Mia just threw up after I fed her. Aw. Yeah, cat barf. You just have to accept it. It's part of life. Cat barf is what it is. So I've got the lights way, way down low, okay? I just want to keep things mellow. When I do the shows, I have to have a lot of studio lighting for things to work. And right now, I just want to take things very gently. I hope you don't mind. So, today's Monday, but Wednesday is actually kind of the critical day. Let me see if I can go over here. Let me see. Yes. Okay, over here. This might not show up very well, but anyway. Wednesday is over here. God, I can hardly see it myself. It's Wednesday the 13th. And that is the day when we have the Sagittarius new moon. Okay. Roughly. Well, it's actually the 12th. It's late at night on the 12th, which is tomorrow, Tuesday evening in America. And then you'll actually start to gently feel it later on Wednesday. And it just so happens so that you can't make this stuff up. So you've got the sun in Sagittarius. You've got the moon in Sagittarius. And we've got Mars in Sagittarius, okay? Now, that is very fierce, powerful, scary kind of energy. It's a little bit spooky. It feels like it's very emotionally charged because the moon is there with the sun. And when I think of Sagittarius energy in its kind of raw form, when I think of the energy in its raw, I'll just come back to that in a minute. When I think of the Sagittarius energy in the raw form, I don't know if any of you know. I know I have had I still have some wonderful Sagittarius friends, people in my life. Very happy to know them. My dear friend Brian, of course, was a very vivid Sagittarian gentleman, and he died very young. He died young. It was basically medical, a horrible, horrible situation that didn't have to happen inside a hospital. Very tragic ending to a fantastic person's life. Anyway, the reason I loved him so much, we loved each other dearly, we were really, really good buddies, is because he was absolutely true. He is who he is. He was who he was. And it was all about truth. He would not tolerate anything fake or bogus or wishy-washy. He loved to live life and to be happy and to be out on the cutting edge of anything and everything he does. He was an adventurer, classic Sagittarian in his own way. He was always learning and studying new ways to advance and improve his craft. And he and I together spent a lot of time in movies and TV. And then he tragically passed away. His dear wife is also a very dear friend of mine, and she's an Emmy Award-winning producer. And we keep in touch. So when this time of year comes around, I often think of my buddy Brian and how he would be raging against what's happening today. And so when I look at the chart today, it's basically happening. This is what we're dealing with. In the Sagittarius season. We've got the sun and Mars and moon very, very tight together up here. And it's forming a really vicious pile of hard squares that's going to increase in pressure over the next few days, right onto Neptune in Pisces at the 24-degree mark. So we've talked about that before. It's the main subject that I feel is going to be highlighted is the battle between truth and lies. Okay? Truth and lies. And the most vivid place we will see that is in Washington, D.C., as a small group of fearless freedom fighters take on the uniparty established Marxist communist regime that is raging across this country right now and has caused decades of damage, and it's now culminating to the point where everybody knows it and everybody can see it. It's fully out there, even on mainstream media. Grandpa Joe and his whole family are now being squished and squashed and squashed and squashed into the area zone of truth. Okay? There's nowhere to hide. This is a blinding, blazing spotlight of vicious, hard truth-seeking against a really vicious, genetically born liar. Okay? He's a true sociopath. And he was born that. I mean, this guy, Grandpa Joe and his family, they are in their element. They are in the perfect environment for a congenital liar, because you can rise up through the ranks by pure lies. And they won't even admit it. They have no concept and awareness of their treachery, either to themselves and their loved ones, their family, their country. It's mind-boggling. For me personally, it's mind-boggling to witness what's happening astrologically in the world right now. The whole world is watching this. It's playing out astrologically on the world stage as United States Freedom Fighter Congress, the Gates Gang of Eight, going against Grandpa Joe and his family. And they're doing it at the highest courts in the land. They're taking it up to the Supreme Court. So it's going to get very, very treacherous, because the Supreme Court and the Department of Justice at the very highest levels is also occupied by a complete communist Marxist traitor, Merrick Garland. And they work in collusion with the FBI, Chris Wray and Mayorkas on the borders and all of that stuff. So it's a team, a pack of vicious Marxists, okay? And they're starting to come unglued, because this energy here is not going to let go, okay, until these people are put in the spotlight of accountability. I don't know what's actually going to happen, but it's going to get very blunt. And the liars are going to be squirming around trying to figure out how can they escape their destiny. I believe their destiny is ultimately failure and being held accountable. I mean, it's hardly being talked about, but frankly, Grandpa Joe and his nearest and dearest need to be not only impeached, but they need to be in prison. They actually need to be in prison, because that's some of the most treacherous crimes ever committed in this country is being done by the so-called fake president we have right now. So I'm very interested to see what happens. It's starting to play out right now in the courts. On Wednesday, on last week and early this week, yesterday, they started the formalized impeachment inquiry process through Congress. That's going to be forwarded and fronted by Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. And then we've got Jamie Comer and the Gang of Eight, Gates Gang of Eight, working on Hunter Biden. So it's all happening simultaneously. Simultaneous pressure, intense pressure from the truth seekers onto the liars. And the buzzword is impeachment. Now you can't impeach Hunter because he's not impeachable, but he's a criminal in collusion with the crime family led by Grandpa Joe. So we'll see what happens. Simultaneously, at the very same moment, Mercury is flipping retrograde. It's in Capricorn now, very recently, up to the 8th degree, and now it's going to retrograde back all the way over here, back, still into Capricorn, and eventually, right over here in early February, sorry, I got the wrong, let me do it like this, I'm sorry, I was jumping ahead. I was looking at February, but I haven't marked up any notes yet. So, I don't know if you can see this clearly. Here is Mercury retrograde, okay? And it's going to take us right up to the end of the year, and then it flips direct again, and it's going to go direct back into Sagittarius right around, it's actually on Christmas Day. Okay, right there. So, again, then at that point, we're going to have, things are going to be in the Capricorn vibes then, but Mercury in Sagittarius is still going to be a lot of pressure on here. By that time, of course, the Sun will already be in the Capricorn season up here. So it's going to be very, very interesting. So we're here right now, the 11th, sorry. Tomorrow's the 12th. At nighttime we have the new moon, and then on Wednesday we've got the actual new moon coming into existence. It'll be a tiny sliver of a crescent, and then it will grow for 2 weeks into the full moon, which will be a Sun in Capricorn and Moon in Cancer. Again, very tightly aligned with the degrees of the United States. Well, actually, that's not true. It's only in the 4-degree mark. But it's in the signs of the United States that are very, very important, the Capricorn-Cancer axis. So that's going to light up. It's very exciting. Also, as you know, Neptune just went direct last week. So, again, the energy of lies, betrayal, deception, fraud, coercion, subversion, sickness to disease, perversion, manipulation of the whole of planet Earth by them, the elites, the globalists, the COP28 agenda people. All of them are in the full open arena of world observation, and vast percentages of the global population are starting to realize these elites are out of their freaking minds. They actually think that because they have a depopulation agenda. Basically, they want to just kill off billions of people and let the planet replenish itself, and then have a lot of robots and a handful of humans, maybe 500 million humans, to actually do human work that can't be done by robots. But the rest of it is just a small cluster of maybe 70,000. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, hold on. Let's try to reconnect. Let's have a look. 52. Is it streaming? Did I read? It says. Okay, it looks like it's successfully connected again, and the stream is active. Sorry about that. There was a Mercury retrograde crash here. Okay, so hold on. I'm doing some damage control. Give me a second. Oh gosh, where am I? Okay, so we are streaming. Can somebody type in the chat? Let me know that you can actually connect again. I don't know why. Well, anyway. Dermademic. All right. So where was I? In other words, everything is exactly as it should be. There's this compression of energy that's happening in Washington, D.C., where there's all sorts of, crazy stuff going on there. But the themes that I am curious about mostly are to do with this dynamic here, which is very much to do with the impeachment of Grandpa Joe and the court cases for his son Hunter. Okay, you can hear. Okay, so it's reconnected. Sorry, there was an internet blackout here for a short while. I don't know what happened. And it's going to get really interesting because the whole of Washington, except for basically the Gang of Eight, is heavily contaminated with Marxist, communist evil. And it's very difficult to undo that in just a few meetings and stuff, because the Supreme Court is, and the Department of Justice and Merrick Garland are going to do everything they can. They're going to do everything they can to stop the beams of light coming from Sun, Mars, and Moon, and the Sun and Mars torching Neptune, okay? They're going to try and block this from happening, and they think they can do it because they believe that they are gods, that they are above God. And we'll see what happens. But I believe that in the end, truth will prevail. And everybody in the world is watching. Okay? Everybody in the world knows that Grandpa Joe is running a crime family, and he has betrayed America, along with a lot of other politicians and corporations and banksters. They're basically doing everything they can to destroy the United States, because the American Constitution is the enemy of the tyrants. Okay? Okay? And this is a major war. This is a war. Remember, Mars is here, conjoined Sun. This is a war. Truth versus lies. Truth versus fraud, deception, lies, betrayal, theft, bribery, corruption. Anyway, so that's happening. It's actually happening. Next thing is we're going to head into Capricorn season. And if you can see here, Jupiter is going to slow down and turn direct right at the end of the year. Okay? Mercury is going to turn direct right at the end of the year. So right over here on the 31st of December. In a way, I should mark this whole thing as a pink. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to mark this as a big pink line. This whole thing right here is an astrological threshold. This is a threshold. Always the full moon and new moon are always thresholds. And the eclipses, of course. But this is a major threshold. Can you see visually the difference between this page and that page? This page is clear right now. And it's soon going to have pink marks everywhere for the full moon and the new moon and anything else I can find. But right now I started the early markers, and I was pinpointing some hot spots. The hot spots I've pinpointed in January are multiple. I'll show you. We've got the 0 point of Aquarius here when we come out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. Right here, that's going to be January 21st. We've got another hot spot as Mercury goes to 0 degrees Capricorn right over here. Okay, so that's going to eventually, in a few weeks from there, in February, it's going to conjoin with Pluto. Venus is going to go into Capricorn on the 24th. Pluto moves into, I'll come to that in a minute. That's the big surprise. It's not a big surprise, but Uranus is going direct on the 27th. Okay? And then we have Pluto going into Aquarius for good, for another 20 years, okay, from here onwards. So this is a point of critical mass. This point here is the exact pivot point of history, global history, where we're going into a whole new Pluto cycle for 250 years. And we, the people, are going to witness this. We're going to be in the opening, season 1, episode 1. Think of it that way. Think of it as 20 seasons with 12 episodes in each season. How about that? Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. It's going to be better than Netflix, I tell you. This is the cusp moment I've been talking about for years. Okay? This is it right here. We're going through the 29-degree mark of desperation over here and over here, of course. This is all where we are at the point of desperation for humanity. It's going to show up especially with the tyrants and the despots, the dictators and the propagators of Marxist evil, communism, and any form of evil. They're going to start to meet face to face growing resistance from people who want to reclaim freedom, sovereignty, the right to free speech, the right to protect and defend yourself, the right to be you, as opposed to becoming an automaton. You know that, I'll come back to this in a minute. I just want to come over here. So like with this whole COP 28, 20, whatever it is, year, the convention of, whatever it's called, I forgot what COP stands for, but it's basically the coalition of all the global elites, okay? And how they are conspiring to take over the world. They want to take it's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. They want to take over the world. They want to stop meat. They want to get rid of cows, pigs, chicken, and seafood for the masses. They want to kill off about 7 billion people. And it'll be a long, slow process. In the meantime, they want to get rid of coal and oil and gas for fuel. And they want to switch everything to solar and wind. It's pathetic. It's insanity. They have absolutely no idea how completely delusional they are. But they're still pushing it anyway, because they believe they are gods. They literally do believe that they are gods. Klaus Schwab is famous for having declared, "We are gods. We are above the law. We are above the governments. It's I don't know how you can have that such supreme arrogance unless you have abdicated anything to do with love. And you've decided, I am God. I am a God. And you start to act like a tyrannical dictator. And what's amazing to me about the World Economic Forum, which is probably one of the most elegant and symbolic manifestations of this evil, is that it's beautifully presented. They have the beautiful website. They have their offices. They've got all their agendas that have penetrated and infiltrated every government, especially in westernized type countries, where it's like a sanitized, sparkleized version of hardcore Marxist dictatorship communism. And they try to make it digestible by telling you they're going to save you when we're doing it to help you, to save you, okay? Basically saying, you've overpopulated yourself, you're eating too much meat, you're contaminating the planet. We have to stop all that stuff. Everything's going to be hydroponic, and you're going to have insects. We already know Tyson Meats just signed a contract with a big insect producer, probably owned by Bill Gates, to stuff insect food into our food chain. It's mind-boggling. So, anyway, it all makes perfect sense when you study the astrology. In other words, okay, well, everything's exactly as it should be. What do you expect? This is exactly how it is. They could not have done an analysis like this 250 years ago because I don't think they had the astrological tools. They did not yet have the discovery of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in their telescopes or radio telescopes. It was only in the mythology. So there was no way to do what we can do here today. And, excuse me. So, as the clock ticks, if you look at the astrological wheel as a sort of incredible clock with not just an hour hand and a second hand, but 12 hands that go zoom, 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 round, around, 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 around in perpetual motion. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And you start to realize, oh my God, there are patterns. There are patterns, and the patterns have features that are, these days, with modern astrology, highly predictable, highly precise. It's amazing. In some ways, I don't even want the fancy software that some of the big league astrologers use, because everything becomes sanitized and filtered through computers, so you don't have to think as an astrologer. I like to have the freedom to do my own personal analyses from my own experience and my own perceptions. And luckily, it seems to correlate with the core themes from the big boys. So I'm kind of proud of that. Let me go back over here for a minute. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you a heads up a little bit. So December is going to be kind of exciting with this battle going on, because it's going to be full on through the holiday season. And these folks over here, the Biden crime family, are going to be doing everything they can to squirm out of the spotlight, stay out of it. They believe that they are immune. They believe that they're above it. Grandpa Joe is paying no attention. It's like he's oblivious, he's immune, he's untouchable. But I do believe that he will be brought into the spotlight of justice. And we'll see what happens. Same thing, similar story for the Sun Hunter. So this is going to be ongoing through right up to the end of the year. Okay? So for the next few weeks, okay, all of this time period here, it's going to be ongoing. And then eventually we're going to switch into the Capricorn energy here. Things are going to get very serious. Now, I just want to jump one little step ahead. This is just a teaser, and then I'm going to leave it for tonight. Oh, wait a minute. What was I going to say? Yeah, okay. Mercury retrograde. I think we talked about that. Right now it's in a little bit of Capricorn, and then it's going to retrograde back to Sagittarius. Then it's going to from Sagittarius back into Capricorn, and then forward for the next few months. Okay, so I mentioned that. Next, TCN. Tucker Carlson Network is launching, I believe, this week. And I think it's going to be kind of a surprise. It makes me feel as though Mercury retrograde is actually working in the favor of the Tucker Carlson Network. Now, perhaps it might be that Tucker is born with Mercury retrograde, for example. What Tucker has with Tucker Carlson Network is he's poached his executive producer and producers and some of the writers from the old Fox Network. So it wasn't just Tucker that was pushed out of Fox Network. Tucker was followed by about 4 other very high-powered executives inside Fox who just gave the middle finger to Fox as well. In other words, if you want to take Tucker away, we're leaving too. Bye-bye, uck you. So that's what happened. So Tucker's going to have an incredible network. It's going to be, I think, $6, $7, $8, or $9 a month. That's the problem for me, because I'm a little bit tapped out. You've got to be very, very selective about where you allocate your funds. He will still be offering some broadcasts on X, so that's pretty cool, but I think the really good premium stuff, he's going to keep it inside the network so that you have to pay for it to see it. I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. I already spend my expendables on the Epoch Times because you have to pay for that. Because you can't get it free on YouTube. YouTube has demonetized the whole thing. And the same thing is starting to happen with Newsmax. I should put that here, shouldn't I? Yes. In case you're interested about these things, Newsmax is really throttled and choked back on YouTube now. It's very difficult to get anything that's current or useful within the 12-hour period. It'll go back for 1 or 2 or 3 days, and it might have 1 or 2 clips from 2, 5, 10 hours ago for the day itself, but you can't really hardly even get Carl Higbee anymore. So what does that tell you? Well, I'm telling you, Newsmax just set up its own network, just like TCN is setting up its own network. Newsmax, I believe, is going to be about $5 a month. If I could, I would pay for this and this. I'd have it all full premium content. Hello, Ivona. Anyway. Now I'm going to flip the page here. I'm going to show you something. Can you see here there's a lot of free open space on the white parts of the page? Forget these, forget this. Look at this one. This is Uranus retrograde. It's still retrograde. And remember, it's a 7-year journey through Taurus. And it's on the second half of the journey right now. It's been retrograde for a while, but it's going to go direct again. So where does that leave us? We've got another threshold period. I'm not going to mark it right now. Right here. This line. There's going to be a big pink line here soon enough. Because once we go through all these crisis points here, these are astrological crisis points because we are crossing thresholds and changing energy fields very significantly. Look what happens when we get into... See, this one is for January, right? Now flip it to February 2024. Look at this. It's freakish. A whole month with no retrogrades. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Juno and Vesta. I'm not talking about the nodes, okay? I'm just talking about the planets. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All of them direct. So things are going to be extremely lively when we get into the very opening days of the new Pluto cycle. This is history. We're witnessing history. I like to think of this. Okay, this page here for December 23. This page here for January 2024. This page here, February 2024. These are like the first opening lines in Season 1, Episode 1 of a 20-year... I'm trying to make an analogy. Please bear with me. Let me start again. I want to make it sound cool and effective. We're looking at Season 1, opening scenes for Episode 1 of a 20-season, 12 episodes a season journey, okay? It's mind-boggling. I hope I make it through the whole thing. I hope you guys hang out with me throughout the whole thing. It's going to be epic. The first few years are going to be absolutely epic. Global, massive, revolutionary upheaval. It's already happening in Argentina. It's amazing. Did you hear about how Xi Jinping just sent a congratulations letter to Mr. Javier Milei over in Argentina, like, hello Javier Milei, please remember that I am Xi Jinping, I am the god of the world, I'm taking over everything, and I want to congratulate you on your new presidency. I look forward to talking about you to cement our future relationships and camaraderie and future business and Belt and Road. And then Javier Milei kind of goes, in a polite way, basically, no, we're not going to do that. Sorry. Bye. So Xi Jinping, he's not going to admit it, but he's just suffered a massive diplomatic blow. And at the same time, Giorgia Meloni over in Italy just kind of went, no more Belt and Road. Get out, China. Get out of our country. Get out now. So that happened, all of that happened in the last couple of weeks, the last few days. So Mr. Ping is really, really pissed off. Ping is pissed. It's at the same time his country is collapsing. It's imploding. It's mind-boggling to see what's happening. Truly mind-boggling. I think I'll leave it at that for now. I didn't make a lot of really scripted things. I just wanted to get it out there because when I'm looking at the charts, we're looking at monumental changes. Of course, in day-to-day life, it'll just be, there's the car, there's the house, there's the job, there's friends, there's family, there's, Mercury retrograde, there's Christmas, there's New Year, and all of that kind of stuff. That's just going to keep going in the background. That's just, I would call that scenery. That's scenery. But the real action is happening here in the astrology, and a pivotal point in global history that hasn't happened in 250 years. It's happening right now. Heather, good evening. I'm just about to say good night. So I'm going to wrap out here. If you want to catch a little snippets of what I've been doing, you can watch it. It's a short show. I've only been going 20 minutes or something. Anyway, thank you all very, very much. And I want to say good night. I'll catch up with you soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.